Hello and welcome to Vegan Steven Music Create Now on production. So, the end goal of this, you can produce whatever you want, but I'm talking primarily about producing like a pop song, which, here's some good stuff for a pop song. I want to touch on some stuff today. Dynamics, which means how loud or soft something is. Basic song structure. There you are. Alright, basic song structure. So, intro. Get your pen and paper out there. Intro, so the introduction. Could just be one chord or like a little riff. Often quite quiet, who knows. Alright. Intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, ending on a double chorus. Alright. Outro. So intro and outro are kind of the same. You got your verse repeated twice, you got two different verses, and you're repeating your chorus 4 times more or less. Some phrases, don't bore us, gets the chorus. Keep it simple, stupid. You gotta have the chorus hook ideally in within the first 30 seconds or so, or before. So yeah, if you want a super, even more hit singly, you can pull an Aerosmith and skip the intro and just put the chorus in there. It's called Aerosmith or a Def Leppard. Mutt Lang and the boys. He's their producer. So starting on a chorus. Alright, so the chorus is the part of the song that everyone will be singing along. Like, we're so happy, oh, it's happy times. It's so happy, happy life sublime. Okay? Brilliant. Chorus, done. Whatever. So the chorus might be very loud, okay? So the dynamics of that would mean loud dynamic. You generally have loud, the middle, and the soft. So playing quietly. This is very, very important for you to be able to play your instrument, whatever the instrument is, at 3 different volumes primarily. So can you practice playing your instrument like very loud? Alright, that's dynamics. Are you playing loud? Are you playing just regular or soft? Difference between an okay drummer and an amazing drummer. Dynamics. So you know when you're in the horror film and it goes BAM! That's like the loud jump scare dynamic. And then like there's whispering really quiet, like, where's the killer? Oh, we don't know where he is. Oh, we're building lots of tension. And then it goes BAM! The fucking killer jumps out with a knife or something. So horror films have a very, very, very wide dynamic range. They go very, very, very soft and very, very loud. And it's very, very good. It's very, very good. So if you want people to have that same emotion or that same kind of, shock or whatever, you gotta have the verses very, very quiet and the chorus is loud or compressed or whatever you want, loud. There's loads of ways you can make it seem loud by having more filled out orchestration and endless other things. Just fucking in a load of backing vocals, even though it's not actually loud, as in volume wise. Anyway, normally stuff can only go up to 0 dB. So to make it appear loud, you just compress the crap out of it. It's like having a balloon. And you're just like squashing the shit out. It's the air is still there and all, but it's all fucking squashed. Anyway, so compression. So dynamics. Compressors are a thing to use. Bruce Williams said compression is for kids. Love it. He's Michael Jackson's sound engineer. they were asking him, what compressors did you use on the Thriller album and stuff? So nah, you didn't use compression, man. Compression for kids. Which, if you have really, really good musicians, they can keep track of their old dynamics. But if you have a kid playing or someone learn their instrument, they don't have the stamina or even the ear or loads of different things. Just they don't have the hours practiced or whatever to play consistently at a certain volume. So it can be excellent practice when you guys are practicing. Some instruments don't have dynamics, such as synthesizers, many keyboards. You can adjust whether they have dynamics or not. Stuff like an acoustic piano will have, acoustic instruments will generally have dynamics. Like the guitar can be played soft or loud. So we're talking about the horror film kind of mindset, where if you want the person to feel a big jump or something, you gotta have stuff like silences, big jumps. That's why sometimes they have a silence before the chorus. They're like, it's the verse and I'm singing really quietly. It's the verse and you make me feel. Did you hear that stop? And then I'm strumming and it stops, but I keep singing. Now I'm in the chorus. Don't bore us, get us to the chorus. And I stop the guitar, but I keep singing to add tension. People love to do this stuff in pop songs. Dynamics, alright? So you can, even though the vocal's the same level or whatever, it's still there in your face, as a big sense of dynamics, loud and soft. Alright, so here's an example of something that has completely squashed dynamics. If you listen to a rock band or dance is generally just fucking loud. All the AC/DC, just fucking loud. That's like very compressed. The best example is ads. If you ever listen to an ad, you're watching TV, right? You're watching TV, all's going well, you're watching The Simpsons or something, so you're having a lovely little time for yourself. And then you go out to make a cup of tea or something, and then all of a sudden the ads are blaring, and you're like, what the fuck? When did the ads get so loud? I thought the volume turned down, because the volume is completely compressed, and compressed just kind of means it's made to be as loud as possible. It loses all dynamic range though. So there you are. It's like with distorted guitars, the heads the waves get chopped off and you're just left with like a square wave. So there's no dynamic range there. Dynamic range again is the difference between like silence and the loudest point, which is like 0 dB and between like minus 35 dB. So like I said, it only goes up to 0. Which is mad. But if it went above 0, all our like our TVs will all be distorting all the time and stuff. So anyway, that might be a bit too technical for you. Dynamics. Gonna look up the old Wikipedia, just DYNAMICS. Maybe they can give a different version of what dynamics are. Microsoft Dynamics, whoops. In music. Alright, the distance between loud and soft. So something with a wide dynamic range would be classical music. When you listen to radio, is heavily compressed, okay? So when you hear something that's really loud all the time, it means it's heavily compressed. Normally the human voice goes like quiet for some parts of the sentence and loud for other parts. What are you saying? I didn't take that, I didn't steal anything. Or you're real quiet, like, oh, I really don't tell anyone else, but I really like you, and I like fucking, what do people say quietly? All this stuff. Alright, here we go. Alright. So here's some dynamic, in music, the dynamics of a piece is the variation between loudness, the loud notes, and between loudness, notes or phrases. Alright, so here's some Italian for you. Fortissimo, also known as FF, means very loud. So in the classical writing, do you know you'd write a letter and you'd be like, fucking hell, here's what I'm writing down the letter or whatever. They have instruction notes on how they want the music to be played, and they have little dynamic notes on the classical music, and it says stuff like FF, which means play this very loud. And other passages say, for example, like the pre-chorus, they'd say stuff like mezzo piano, which would mean, it doesn't say here, but very quiet, I guess. Oh, there's 4 more. Jesus, sorry. Scooby-Doo. Piano means quiet, forte means loud. It's Italian as far as I know. Here's feckin' all of them. All the ones no one asked for. We got triple F. That's like screaming till your voice doesn't work anymore. And then we got P for piano, which is soft. So P for piano, F forte meaning loud. More subtle degrees of loudness, so there's everything in between. You just really gotta know loud and quiet. MF always mezzo piano, moderately soft. So mezzo must mean moderately. Alright, mezzo, grand. MF, mezzo forte. PP means fortissimo, very soft. FF, fortissimo. Yeah, you get the idea. Alright, so they've been doing this since the choir days and so on. So for different sections in the song, this is where it's going to get a little bit complicated. So you can be there just with your volume knob, right? And you're listening to the song. Do you want it up or down? Do you want the volume to go up? That's forte, it's louder. Do you want the volume to go down? That's piano, it's softer, grand. Mortissimo, where's the fucking mortissimo? Mezzo. There's one in the middle. But the thing in producing is you gotta orchestrate, which means arrange the loudness, the volume, if you will, the distance between loudness and soft of each instrument. So you're gonna be like, right, I generally want the drums quiet, but when it gets to the chorus, I'd like the drums to be loud, and so on like that. So different instruments will have different volumes for different sections, and this is some people don't. Yeah. Okay. For example, radio presenters don't have any dynamic range. It's just loud. Now, when they got classical music has a very, very wide dynamic range, and they have a conductor. And if you want to know what the conductor's doing, when his hands are high, it means play loud. When he's punched up a little ball and he's doing small movements, that means play quiet. So big movements, loud; small movements, thing. Conductor is the man who stands in front of an orchestra and starts waving his magic wand like Harry Potter at them, and he tells them, you play now, right, you play now, and he says, hey, you be playing quiet there now, and he possibly keeps time for them. It's debatable. Some people think you don't need them. I wouldn't trust an orchestra without them, but that's just me. It's like the brain of the hive or whatever, and it's alright. So in modern music, instead of having a conductor, you have a thing like volume automation, which means you draw in the line of how loud or soft something is for a different section. So there you are. On the chorus, if you have everything really, really loud, you won't be able to hear anything. So that's something to think about. There you are. Dynamics in music. Song structure. Song structure. Song structure is the arrangement of a song as part of songwriting process. It is typically sectional, which use repeating forms, such as common forms include bar form, 32 bar form, verse, chorus, and strophic, and 12 bar. What is the basic structure of a song? Intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and bridge. Well, that's not really right, but okay. So the pre-chorus is the little thing before the chorus. So if you want to keep it really simple, just there's verse and chorus, and that's it. Alright? Verse and chorus. Chorus is always the same. Chorus is always the same, and it's pretty happy, 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 yeah. This is the chorus, and it's pretty loud and pretty happy, happy, happy. You can sing along. Yeah, 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 you can sing along. Yeah. Alright. And the verse is quieter. This is all just keeping it simple, right? Verse, quiet, telling the story. So, do you know when I look into your eyes, I'm telling a story. It's the verse and it's pretty quiet. I'm singing along, and it's the verse and it's pretty quiet. And then the pre-chorus would be like, when I look into your eyes, it's the pre-chorus, and it's the pre-chorus is trying to add tension before the chorus so you can get a payoff. Yeah, now it's the chorus and it's super happy, everything's alright, and you can sing along. It's the chorus. Yeah, 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 yeah. Right, we're going back into the bridge, but maybe I'm a little uncertain because it's the bridge, or even middle eight. You often go to those minor chords for the middle eight. Can be, it's kind of like destabilizes the song a bit. So when the chorus comes back in, you're like, oh, that's the part I remember. That's the real catchy bit. So often the middle eight can be like a breakdown or something. So it might be like, the chorus. So you can often do stuff like just play the chorus. So you'd be playing the chorus here. It's the chorus, yeah, I love sing along, yeah. And then it might just do something like they call it a breakdown or whatever. They can be like a guitar solo. It's just a break from singing, because they might be like, it just gives you another chance to hit them again with the chorus. Because the song will be over a bit too long. You're trying to get to that golden point of 3 minutes 30 seconds. So normally what composers do is, some of the big pop lads, is they go like, right, how close am I to be near 3 minutes 30 seconds? They go like, right, I've got a minute to kill, so I'll put a middle eight in and then I'll whack a double chorus in and we're home safe. The current trend is kind of a short little song, like a minute and 35 or 2 minutes, because Instagram, or else 15-second video clips and all this stuff. So the 3 minutes 30 model was back from the radio days, and it was good for slotting in between ads, and they figured out it was kind of like the average attention span of a listener, but people don't really buy singles or whatever. Anyway, different business model, different times. All you need to know is verse, chorus, grand, verse and chorus, alright? Verse is a bit quieter, it's telling the story. Middle eight is just something just a bit of something different, so you'll miss the chorus. You'll be like, oh man, remember how good that chorus was? Oh yeah, that's brilliant. I love singing that. So it's just there to make you want the chorus again, and then you give them the chorus and they're so delighted, and they haven't heard it in ages, so you play the chorus twice, and then they drive home singing, oh yeah, 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 I love that song on the chorus and it's so catchy. Now these are extremes, and some of you may be getting sick in your shoes being like, oh, I don't like pop, oh jeez, and that's fine. They used a similar format in fucking classical music with the 3 acts and loads of other things. It's all to do with the secret ratios and all this stuff. Anyway, who knows? Song. What are different parts of a song? Says. This is what Blog Song Trust says. Intro. Think of this as the prelude to the song. Verse. Arguably the most emotional part of the song. The verse is where the song's story, whether it's lyrical or instrumental, begins to unfold. And then you just have loads of other terms thrown in here. I don't know what they were thinking. They got refrain. That's the bit after the chorus normally. We got pre-chorus, bit before the chorus. The chorus, which is the chorus. The bridge, which is the same as middle eight, which middle eight just used to mean 8 bars in the middle. Outro and coda are the same thing. And then you got a thing called the hook. Hook is just the same as whatever the catchy part is. The chord, it can also just be like an instrumental riff, like you got vocal hook. On autopilot. Then you got the riff hook. On autopilot. So just that repetitive riff that keeps people singing. Oh yeah, you have a bit where they're, yeah, that's a fucking good bit, yeah. So loud while the vocals need to be loud while you're telling the story, and then the chorus is the same every time. So you just need something like na na na, we're all doing the same thing. Na na na, we're all singing together, and all these things. All right. If you can anytime you listen to a song, this sounds very teacher-esque, doesn't it? Try to strip away the arrangement of the song. Just listen. What's the verse? What's the chorus? And all the rest of it. Things you can use instead of using dynamics. Personally, when I'm making CDs now, everything has to be so loud that I use orchestration instead of dynamics, because dynamics is just right now is get everything as loud as fuck and possible, because you won't be able to hear anything on the phone, because people have to hear it on these little ear pods and all this stuff. You can't hear anything, so everything else has to be as loud as possible to be competitive. It doesn't have to be, just a way of doing it. So a lot of people use orchestration, which means like they'll use certain sounds for the chorus, certain sounds for the verse. Alright, so there's a harmonic difference as opposed to a dynamic difference, harmonic content. So you might say strip back, only play low notes for the verse. So this be stripped back. I've been thinking about playing piano, doing the Vegan Stephen podcast every day, yo. This is building tension and telling a story. A story, a story. And then you'd have something that adds tension, like the flicking did you know? Yeah, you get the idea. Something that adds tension there, and then you get the release of the tension after the pre-chorus. So you got your pre-chorus there, adding a bit of tension, and then you got some release with the release with the chorus there. Everything. And also the full orchestration of the full piano, full sound. You might get the drums in there. Did you know? More busy, just more stuff going on. Verse, chorus. Alright, so any other little bits we need to go over? Dynamics. Horror films, wide dynamic range. Advertisements and radio, no dynamic range, just loud. It's on or off, it's loud or not loud. In this podcast, for example, there's should be no dynamic range really. It's just either loud or not loud, because you've a range of limiters and series to sculpt the sound to be as loud as possible, so that you guys can hear this. Whether if you're on a train, if you're listening to this on a tiny little phone in the other room, you might still be able to hear my voice, because it's loud and it's there to do a purpose. It's there for a job. Yeah, and anecdotally, a lot of studio engineers have compressors, which just restricts the dynamic range, would make reduces the dynamic range, so maybe they could have it all at the same volume the whole way through. So they have them strapped onto their TV, so that when they listen to horror films, they don't have to race and fucking get the remote out to turn it down during the loud bit and turn the volume up when there's you can't hear what they're saying. It's just the same volume all the time, which does kind of ruin the whole point, but I guess if you're having neighbours that are giving out to you or something. Who knows? So that's dynamics. There's dynamics, there's compressors. So drums would have a very, very wide dynamic range. Drums would be, think of just very, very loud, very, very loud. Yeah, okay, happy with that. Have a great day. I know this might be very, very confusing, and maybe you think you know all this already, but I'm constantly thinking about it and stuff. And for example, in punk, they kind of just play, drummer play as loud as he can, guitarist play as loud as he can, grand, bass player play as loud as he can, and possibly as fast as he can. We'll have a race to the end, and then the singer might just be like, not have warmed up and just had a few pints and just saying, right, I'll just scream into the mic to see how it goes. Then the singer might lose his voice or whatever. That's how a lot of people grow up, and it's a lot of fun. But there's a lot to be had from. It's an emotional experience from playing quiet sometimes and having quiet bits and loud bits, up and down. Alright, have a great one. Over and out. Create now.